again, like, as long as we've been doing this show, my answer has always been it depends. And
Well,
this is certainly
Walk with us as we escort you to safety, experience, and the adventure of a lifetime.
that's right. Time for some Escort Quests, where we lead you to safety, XP, and the adventure of a lifetime. Then again, I'm repeating the very thing just popped into your ears with the whole transition. So why am I doing that? Waste of breath. Okay. Kind of going into that a little bit, of course, the whole idea of a game, right, is also the idea of playing with other people. MMO, massively multiplayer online, implies there are a lot of people out there. No, escort quests are the worst.
Some of them.
Not these, we hope. Okay. Anyways, so playing with other people, I mean, obviously you join in and you do these different games together in a group. Nowadays you have LFR, LFG, whatever it is, okay, that does it. You don't have to even know the person, just jump in, play it, off you go. But guilds, free companies, alliances, oh my, all these different ways you get together, okay? Question is, should you, okay? And then, of course, if you do say yes, you should, all right, well, how long should someone stay? Should you guild hop? And when is there a time to quit a guild? I ask all these questions because, I'm in a guild in World of Warcraft, obviously for the Shadowlands, and most of my colleagues have bailed ship because they went to other guilds to do raiding because our guild is not raiding. I'm the low B, so to speak. And I'm like, okay, well, I get that. So we have people who are like, I need to do more. I'm going to join my other guild, okay? I ran a guild in World of Warcraft back in the day, and it was fun. It was great. It also was a pain in the butt. If you ever ran a ministry or a guild or anything like that, dealing with people, you're going to deal with drama popping up. I know that also I was a part of a guild one time. We were raiding on Horde side, and I was their chief healer, and they were not necessarily the nicest people at times with other people joining the group, whatnot. And it felt weird, but I did it because I was my daughter. So to me, I'm going to thinking like, okay, well, yes, you should. And yes, you should guild hop if you find the right one that fits for you. And yes, you should leave when basically it's the time to go. But I just wanted to toss it out to you guys, Solomon. What do you think about this? Guilds, free companies, alliances, oh my. Join, stay, or is there time to quit?
Man, that's a good question. I
Thank you.
it, again, like, as long as we've been doing this show, my answer has always been it depends. And
Well,
this is certainly
fair.
because there's just so many nuances, I mean, I think loyalty, like for me, I value loyalty, but
Loyalty,
I'm not
yep.
exactly sure if this is something that you could really implement in this type of topic though, because I'm talking about personal relationships, which you can still develop in an MMO and other online games,
Well, we
but
have, yeah.
if it gets to that, I don't. Oh man, I'm kind of wrestling with this
I mean,
because
there are people who got married because of meeting in game.
right,
There are people who make real life friendships of meeting in game. People hang out. I mean, Gosh Kia is a guild that's been around for a long time. They've like 15, 16, how many years now, right? The leader is in Portland area. They've been doing this for like almost 2 decades now. It's like
dang.
they turn it into that's not their main. They don't do it for a living because they have other things, but they have a pretty good thing. They have multiple chapters in different games, whether it's in, I think, Rift, ESO. I think they might have a small one in WoW, but also Final Fantasy 14. They had other ones in the past. Architect Camelot first started out, Warhammer, different stuff. But yeah, these are all good things you mentioned. Yeah.
I think there's an instance where I'm reminded of an instance where I won't mention the guild or the game I was playing, but the guild that, I mean, I guess I'm technically still in it, even though I haven't played this game in a while. Um, I really loved being in this guild. Lots of cool people, very nice people. I wouldn't say, well, I could probably say I developed maybe two personal relationships with it. I mean, we're not really close by any means, but close enough where I have their phone numbers and we could text each other and stuff like that. But something happened within the guild where these particular people that I've developed a friendship with might end up leaving. And then I remember thinking to myself, am I loyal to my friends or the people that I've established a relationship with, or am I loyal to the guild? Because apparently, there's just a bunch of stuff that was going on behind the scenes that I wasn't aware of, and so they could potentially leave. And so,
Yeah.
ah, man, I was conflicted. I remember feeling really conflicted because I really liked the guild and I liked these individuals too. And so it's just like you got to ask yourself, what's the possible least path of resistance, or what's the path that will give you the less headaches? And
Mm.
luckily they were able to bury the hatchet. Luckily, things were be able to resolve where they would still stay in the guild, and so I didn't have to pick and choose. But I remember they directly asked me too. I was like, "We're considering leaving the guild. Do you want to join us?" And I'm like, I'll consider it, because I really like them as having them as friends. And so yeah, unless you get to that sort of level of commitment and relationships, it's just like, I mean, who really cares if you're just some guy that pops in every once in a while, and yeah, it's definitely at the end of the day, I don't think you're owed anything. So if you are in a guild and you're just not, you know, clicking that
Yeah.
well, or you just it's not for you, then I mean, by all means, like, leave. I mean, no one's I
Yeah.
if the guild master or whoever's gonna hold that against you, even if you're somebody who hasn't really been very active in the guild, then that's probably not the guild for you. They probably have some issues that personal issues that they got to resolve that has nothing to do with
Right.
you or even the game. So with that being said, yeah, you just got to really outweigh just weigh the benefits and the consequences of your decisions if you do get to that level where you could leave, but feelings might get hurt. So um
Yeah. I mean, that's
yeah.
good. When I first joined Dark Age of Camelot, my first MMO game, back in like 2000, 2003, I was just playing the game. I was soloing it. I would write down names of people I thought were pretty good characters. I wanted to group with them because grouping was so important. And one day, this guy asked me to join a guild. I'm like, what? I thought this is kind of one of those like, wow, it's just like kind of an honor a little bit, join a guild. I knew that. I think my wife and my daughters have already had been in some other guilds, right? I'm like, okay, kind of cool. So I joined this. Nice. I think it was called Knights of the Broken Realm. Okay, like this is kind of cool, And man, when I decided I was playing with other people in a guild called Defenders of the Faith, not a Christian guild, but still Defenders of the Faith. Um, I thought about joining them, and I struggled with the idea. Oh my gosh, I felt so bad. I my loyalty, right? I mean, I felt loyalty to the other group. I thought about bad about, I should leave. I want to leave, but I felt bad about leaving. I mean, I struggle with this thing. I even thinking talking to the guild leader, right? Because just do it, no big deal. Okay, we still hang, if you want to, go with them, hanging out. So I did that. I went to the other guild, and now they were on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast. They would log off, okay, and I'd be still playing for more hours. And they decided at some point they were going to move on themselves, and they said, "Hey, can't they left me behind. They didn't even consult me. I thought I was becoming friends with them. They had and they didn't consult with me that they were going to go somewhere else. They left. It's like, well, we're going to leave the guild to Ken, okay, because he'll take care of it. I'm like, I was kind of hurt. We were the alliance leader. We were the guild, the alliance leader, everything about it. Okay, which is like it hurt. And then from that point, the alliance was really cool. A lot of great guilds in our alliance. I got to know a lot of the leaders and people in my guild kind of suffered because I wasn't recruiting for my guild anymore, really. Our guild was kind of like we were still there. We were the alliance leaders, but nothing happening. But the alliance was really sound and solid, okay? It was really a lot of fun there. Eventually, I decided I needed to stop doing that. And so I ended up leaving, I think, the guild for somebody either on my alts, and I joined another guild. So I understand loyalty. I tried to be loyal. When I created a guild in World of Warcraft, it was me and my brother and some others, and we started doing that. It was a lot of fun, and it was hard leaving people behind, even though our plan was to all go to Star Wars. Old Republic, but it didn't happen. Half of us went, half of us didn't. And then when I finally come back, I'm like, I was part of it, but I wasn't really anymore. So to me, it's a struggle because I try to be loyal to those who bring me in and try to work with me and help me out. I don't want to leave. You know, I felt bad when I left ESO because our morning song is a great guild in ESO, right? Our morning song is a great, and I struggle because I like the really good guild, a lot of great people, and I'm like, I'm going to play WoW now. Okay, they're just doing ESO. Anyways, that was my little story there. SirJahzeal, what are your thoughts about this whole thing?
Well, the first guild that I ever belonged to was before EverQuest, and it was just a general online. It was actually an AOL group, if you remember those back in the day.
Yeah.
And it was just a discussion board for gamers in our local area, and then it ended up just exploding, and we had people from all around the world, but it was not specific to any one game or even a genre of games. It was just for gamers who it was a family friendly kind of thing, not necessarily Christian, but there were a lot of Christians in there, including myself. And it was just a really awesome experience, and a couple of those people I still talk to this day. We play different games, but we still stay connected and build some fantastic friendships out of that. Now, through the years, I'm not going to go through all my experiences because there are a lot of experiences. I've had guilds that have ended in a wide range of different for a wide range of different reasons. Usually in MMOs, it comes down to that there's just a difference in opinion on what they want to do with the guild. Are they leaning more? They want to be PvP oriented or PvE oriented. And then you get the folks that are casual, and you get the folks that are on the other side of that pendulum that are wanting to be hardcore raiders doing mythics, and of course that's World of Warcraft, but you know, whatever the most difficult content is for that MMO. And then you get a whole bunch of people, which is where most of us fall into, that are somewhere in between those two ends of the pendulum. And unfortunately, a lot of times, and instead of sticking out together and saying, "Hey, we're all friends here. We're all supposedly mature adults. We should be able to accomplish whatever goals that you want to together without splitting the guild apart, without having to sneak off and poach off of another guild to, you know, your previous guild to build your own guild up and all that stuff. That's just happens way too often. I would say the time that you know that you need to leave the guild is the same way that I say you know that it's time for you to, especially in the MMO verse, it's time for you to leave, or you know, get rid of your sub for a few months or whatever. And that's when it just is it's not fun anymore. It feels like work, or it's toxic, or you feel worse for being in that environment. And it has happened on several occasions where I felt worse for getting on voice chat with certain folks, and then you know, I would get off the game for the night and off of the voice chat, and I just felt like I could have been doing something more positive during that time, you know. And I really feel like that's when you know that it's time to make a change. And I mean, that's really simplistic, and there are many different things that can work into that. But if you feel like it's just not gelling, it's not, you know, a positive experience for you, that you shouldn't have. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I don't feel loyalty to the guild as much as I feel loyalty towards my friends, especially if it's
Yeah,
real life
definitely.
friends. such as in World of Warcraft and Elder Scrolls Online. I have real life friends in those guilds that I'm part of, and so I have loyalty to them. And I don't foresee anything happening, especially in the World of Warcraft, the 2 different guilds that I'm involved in there. I don't foresee ever leaving them, because the ones ran by a friend of mine that I've had for decades, and the other ones just very cherished friendships in that guild as well, that even though I don't really play the characters that are in that guild, but I still play with them. So yeah, I was one of those people you were talking about just a little bit ago. But you know, I have loyalty to my friends, and I feel rewarded for spending time with my friends more than just the guild in general.
Right.
And if it's a rewarding experience, it's a positive experience, you feel better for having spent your evening or your morning or your afternoon with those people, then you're good.
Yeah.
And if it's the opposite of that, then you need to think on it, pray on it, and use your noggin, man. Life is too short to spend it frivolously or in a toxic situation where you just feel worse for being in that situation, especially when it comes to gaming. Gaming is there for leisure time, for stress relief. And if you feel worse when you get off the game, then, like Solomon said, you need to start thinking about, could I have spent that time better? Could I have been more wise with how I chose to spend the last 4 hours? Maybe there's something else that God would rather that you be doing. Maybe that's him saying, hey, there's some other projects that would be more fulfilling, and as well as just be working towards the greater commandment that we've been given. And yeah, not to get all preachy, but it's the truth. And kind of, like I said, what Solomon said, it rang a bell with me, that yeah, it does get, if it's at the point where you're thinking, I really, maybe I shouldn't spend 6 hours on that game today. I should have, maybe spent more time with my kids or my dog or my spouse, or, I have some other project I've been working on, or maybe, I've been neglecting reading the Word of God or praying or whatever. Yeah. So, before I get
Nice.
too preachy on an MMO show,
No, that's well said.
I'll end it with that.
I mean, it boils back to Solomon when he said depends. And by the way, Solomon has to go, so he's gone dark because he has to get to work. We tried to try to be on time, but because of the technical difficulties, ran over a little bit. So Stephen made a comment about, I led my WoW guild for years and love it, and that's true. And that's what makes it all worthwhile. The thing you made a comment about this being a game. I mean, there are people who make so much drama out of the guild stuff, and you're like, what? This is supposed to be a game, and people quit for the very reason, or stop being a guild leader, or even being in a guild, because I'm just tired of this. I come here to have fun and play and just hang out, not to have people be all drama queens, whatnot. But then again, you also got to realize that everybody online is a human being, and you better treat them with the same respect you treat someone offline. And so many people, unfortunately, treat people in games far worse than we ever treat them online. So it's like, it's a mixture. When you deal with human beings, you're always going to have this problem. So the good, you meet new people, you get new experiences, new friendships. The bad, you get trolls that just want to ruin your life, and you just want to quit the guild and the game. Yeah. I think anyone who's ever ran a guild has been there and seen that. I've been there and seen that. I fully cherish and respect those who run a guild, try to help them out, because I understand what it does to go through it, and try to be a good gamer. So yeah. All right. Well said.
Check out the further adventures of Kennethan by liking and subscribing and watching me live on twitch.tv/Kennethan.